Heroes in a half shell.
Turtle power!
Hey everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net. Let's talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. Now, I have been watching Ninja Turtles pretty much as far back as I can remember. There have been a ton of Ninja Turtle movies. You, of course, had the 1990 movies that had the Jim Henson costumes. I think one or two of those are pretty good. Then you had the TMNT animated movie from 2012, which was fine. It was probably the last good Ninja Turtles movie we had, although, let's just say, good for a Ninja Turtles fan, not necessarily a good movie in general. And then, of course, you had the most recent live-action remakes that were produced by Michael Bay that I really did not like the first one, but I think the second one headed in a much better direction. Had there been a third one, hopefully I would have liked it. But because the second movie actually was a failure financially, the series is now being rebooted as this animated film, Mutant Mayhem. Now, here's the thing. Most of these movies are okay at best. If you're a Turtles fan, you can actually watch them. You can enjoy them. But I think most would agree that the average person would not watch a Ninja Turtles movie and get anything real substantial out of it. These movies have been made for the fans, and the fans are the ones who've been keeping it afloat. And maybe that's always been one of the problems with the Ninja Turtle movies, is that they always have been catering to a very specific audience, an audience that is substantial. However, it's not an audience that has potential to grow. Well, with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, they have absolutely made a movie that I think the general public can get behind. You do not have to be a Ninja Turtles fan to watch the movie, and in fact, dare I say it, this is the good Ninja Turtles movie we have hoped for and waited for all these years. It really puts the old Ninja Turtle movies in a new light to where, wow, we were not accepting the best that we could get. We were accepting what we were given, but the best was yet to come. So Mutant Mayhem is kind of like an origin story where we learn about the Turtles' origins and we follow them as they basically learn to live in a world that their master Splinter has told them hates them. And actually what's really interesting about this Ninja Turtles movie is that this is the first time that actual teenagers have voiced the characters. The movie was written and co-produced by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, who seem to really understand what it's like to be a teenager. Rogen has claimed he's a self-identified forever teenager, and you can definitely kind of sense that in the movies that he decides to write and produce. And it's no different with this Ninja Turtles movie. But unlike other Ninja Turtles movies where the turtles are confident and in control and very mature, these turtles are playful and goofy, and they're immature. They don't always have a grasp on the situation. Like Leonardo is still kind of trying to learn to be a leader, and really they don't even want to be fighting. They want to go to high school. That's a very interesting take for these characters. They don't want to be fighting crime per se. They want to be in high school, going out to prom with girls, and joking around with friends. They don't want to be living in the sewers, eating pizza, and being recluses. They want to be part of the real world, and that is fascinating. What's also interesting is that Shredder is actually not the villain in this. There is Superfly, who is also a mutant and also wants to be part of the real world, but has a very different method on how to go about being part of the real world. But it's a very interesting conflict because Superfly and the Turtles actually relate to one another about wanting to be accepted and not being accepted. It's just they have very different philosophies on what you do to become accepted. And I think that this is by far the smartest Ninja Turtle script that I have ever seen, and it might actually deserve an Oscar nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay. I kid you not. And ignoring the writing and the voice acting, everything else about it is just first tier. The action sequences are very chaotic but very well put together. The animation literally looks like a comic book brought to life. I mean, this mixture of CGI and cell is starting to overstay its welcome, but this movie puts a unique spin on it where it's like, it does feel like you are looking at a comic book, which is what the Ninja Turtles actually started as. They started as comic book characters, and the musical score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross is excellent. Like Oscar-winning film composers writing the Ninja Turtle score, doing a blend of 80s synth, and some of it even sounds like old Nintendo themes that you would find in the old Ninja Turtles games. So they put a lot of love and care into this soundtrack, into the look of this movie, and everything about this movie is top notch. The one thing I will warn parents about is that this movie is rated PG. Now, pretty much every animated movie is rated PG. The upcoming Paw Patrol movie is rated PG. We'll talk about that in a few days because I've got thoughts on that. But it should be noted, unlike most movies that get a PG rating, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem actually earns its PG rating. It does have some foul language. The violence is intense. So parents with younger kids under 7 might want to consider previewing this one before they take their kids. I don't necessarily consider this a family film. I consider it a animated film or an action comedy, if you will, for older kids and adults. But hey, older kids and adults love good action comedies, and this is a very good action comedy. I'm going to give Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem 4.5 stars. Really, considering what it is, it exceeds beyond any expectation that I had of this movie. It is wonderful. I really wish that more franchise films were like this and Barbie. I'm kind of feeling like I'm spoiled that we're getting all these franchise films that have auteur touches and are excellent movies in their own rights. It's enough to make me kind of go, oh yeah, well, what if they did this for this franchise? Or they could do a movie like this for this franchise. And of course, I do know that all the wrong lessons are going to be learned from the success of this movie, because I think word of mouth is going to be extremely strong for Mutant Mayhem. So it's going to be a success, and I really hope the future movies are as good as this one. But now I pass a question on to you. Are you a longtime Turtles fan, or are you a newcomer? And if you are a newcomer, do you want to see this new Ninja Turtles movie? Is your curiosity piqued? I'd like to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.